My grandma gave me a $100,000 check for college on my 18th birthday. The next day, my parents demanded I hand it over to cover my brother's debts. I refused, and by dawn, I was quietly gone. Weeks later, they showed up at my campus acting like I was the problem. My brother has always been the golden child. If he blinked at a hobby, my parents funded it. One year, they bought him a ridiculous gaming PC for his birthday, then told me on Christmas morning they'd run out of money. Looking back, the message was consistent. My brother got the future, I got leftovers. So when my parents suddenly offered to throw me a real birthday party, I didn't trust it. I tried anyway, because I wanted to be wrong about them for once. 2 nights before the party, I overheard them in the kitchen. "We need your mother to see we're making an effort," my dad said. "And we can't afford to upset her," my mom whispered. That's when it clicked. The party wasn't for me, it was a show for my grandma. Grandma arrived, smiling and hugged me like I actually mattered. While my parents hovered and played perfect hosts, my dad kept refilling her plate and my mom laughed too loudly at every joke. I told grandma about college. I had a full scholarship to a state school, but my dream was an expensive private college I couldn't touch. Later, grandma tapped her glass, said she was proud of me for working hard, and handed me an envelope. Inside was a check for $100,000. People cheered. I cried. I couldn't even breathe for a second. My parents didn't clap. They stared at that number like it belonged to them, and my dad's jaw tightened in a way I'd never seen before. That night, they whispered in corners and kept glancing at me like I was a locked safe. The next evening, my brother finally showed up. No gift, no apology, straight to the kitchen like he had an appointment. At dinner, my dad cleared his throat. "We need to talk," my brother muttered about loans and the banks. My mom smiled too sweetly and said, "Family helps family," and my stomach dropped. "We think you should give your brother grandma's money," my dad said. My brother leaned forward. "You got a full ride anyway." "No," I said. Then my dad grabbed my wrist. First, his fingers clamped down like a cold bracelet. Next, he yanked me up so fast my chair scraped. Then, my mom stayed seated, eyes fixed on my plate. After that, he dragged me toward the stairs. Again, he hissed, "Go to your room." Then he leaned close. "Tell grandma and you're out." Finally, my brother watched like it was normal. Upstairs, my wrist throbbed and my head wouldn't stop racing. Why did I still expect them to choose me? By 5 a.m., I stopped hoping and started packing. I grabbed my documents, my laptop, a few clothes, and the check, and I slipped out the back door with about $300 from my part-time job. My phone exploded with messages. "Come back, don't be dramatic, think about your brother." I bought a train ticket to Massachusetts and went straight to grandma. When she opened the door and saw my wrist, her whole face went still. I told her the truth and she called my dad on speaker. He tried to spin it. Grandma cut him off. "I'm done funding your favoritism," she said. "I'm changing my will. You and your son get nothing." Then she looked at me and said, "You're safe here." That night, my parents and my brother spammed my phone until I muted it. I started my dream school that fall, and for once, my life felt like mine. About a month in, my resident advisor knocked on my door and said my parents were waiting at the campus coffee shop. They looked tired and deflated, but my mom still tried to act warm. "We're sorry," my dad said. Then my mom added, "Can you talk to your grandma about the will?" So that was it. Not remorse. A new angle. "If you want to talk to grandma, do it yourself," I said. "I'm not your messenger." My mom's face hardened, and I stood up. "You only call it family when you want something from me," I said, and I walked out. Later, I heard my brother's business collapsed anyway, and my parents started draining their savings trying to keep him afloat. Meanwhile, grandma and I planned my semesters like my future actually mattered. This was the moment I understood I wasn't cruel for leaving. I was finally choosing myself. What would you do in my place? Cut them off for good, or give them one last chance?